Okay, nako magandang gabi ho sa inyong lahat. Welcome ho sa ating program. Ako po si Sunny Laragan dito po sa Legal Advice Corner. Ako po ang makakasama ng ating legal expert ho. Nagbibigay sa atin ng legal advice every Tuesday ho ng gabi rito, no? 8 p.m. dito po sa Pinoy Radio UK. You can watch this on Pinoy Radio UK Facebook page and on some other pages natin ho, no? So welcome sa ating program. Ako po si Sunny Laragan. Siyempre, ipakikilala ko yung pinaka-star ho natin ng show natin because siya ho ang magbibigay sa atin ng advice, no? Legal advice para ho sa ating mga problemang legal dito po sa United Kingdom. Halo-halo na ho yan. No, pero wag ho, baka bigla kayo magtanong na immigration. Hindi ho immigration muna rito, no? Everything legal except immigration. Ayan, napag-uusapan natin ngayong gabi ay yung kanina pina-flash natin, no? Kung ikaw ay nangungupahan, tenant ka dito sa UK, ano ba ang mga karapatan mo? Siyempre, pakikilala natin yung ating pinakamamahal, napaka batang-bata, no? Napakatalino at napakaganda pa. Walang iba kundi si Attorney DANNA QUINTO. Attorney, magandang gabi sa iyo.
Po sa pinakagwapong Mr. Laragan. let's start it off with that. Magandang gabi Europe, magandang gabi London. Mayong gabi sa tanan ng mga Kasimanwa, sa mga Ilonggo man daw, hindi Ilonggo. It's a very good evening. A lovely summer evening here in the UK. 22 degrees. At kaya wala pa rin tayong blazer ngayon dahil baka matunaw tayo sa legal advice corner na hindi immigration corner. And good evening, Attorney Lyria. It's also a pleasure to be serving the Filipino community with you. So yes, ang sabi niyo nga po, tonight we're going to talk about pangungupahan sa UK, kung ano yung mga karapatan ng mga tenants dito sa UK, whether Filipinos or not, kung isa sa pinaka hot topic these days because of current circumstances. Ang daming yung ibang mga tenant is naapektuhan yung ability nila na magbayad sa landlord nila, and in the same vein, may mga landlord din na parang nahihirapan mag-maintain ng property. So it's siguro magandang pagkakataon to just give a brief guidance sa mga kababayan natin kung ano ba dito sa UK ang mga karapatan ng mga tenants or mga nangungupahan.
Ayan, yan ang pag-uusapan natin sa gabing ito, no, Attorney. Okay, napaka relatable para sa ating mga kababayan. Marami tayong mga kababayan, no, na talagang nangungupahan. Isa na dyan sa akin, yung aking one of my children, yung daughter ko, no, at siya ay nangungupahan. So magandang malaman natin yung mga karapatan nila. So sige, go Attorney. Sige.
Yeah, without further ado, una ako yung first impression ng mga abogado dito sa UK. You'll hear it pag nakapag-usap ka sa isang abogado na who deals with, tawag namin, landlord-tenant matter. Ang dito sa UK, it's quite well known na malakas ang rights ng mga nangungupahan. It's very pro-tenant. And sabi nga ng mga landlord minsan na kliyente ko, ay ang unfair naman, ang lakas ng mga karapatan nila. It's almost like bias sa mga nangungupahan, bias sa mga tenant yung law. And I'll tell you why. First of all, may rights kayo as tenants to be informed about the property. Kailangan bigyan kayo ng mga documents ng landlord as such as following. Unang-una, about sa deposit. No? So, pag nabigay kayo usually about 5 weeks deposit in addition to sa first month advance mo, sabi mo, saan na kaya yun? Saan na kaya napunta yung deposit mo? Dito sa UK, sobrang stricto ng gobyerno about what we call tenancy deposit. Kailangan ilagay ng landlord yan sa tenancy deposit scheme, isang approved na scheme ng gobyerno, and kailangan mabigyan kayo ng tenancy deposit certificate para alam nyo na hindi na tinakbo ng landlord nyo yung pera. So you should be getting that at the start of your tenancy or within 30 days na binigay nyo yung deposito nyo. Kung hindi yan nagawa ng landlord nyo, you can come back later pag halimbawa ending na ng tenancy nyo or kung itatry kayong i-evict ni kuya, you can come back and raise that point kasi pwede silang, actually hindi pwede, mapipenalize sila ng korte or ng law up to 1 times to 3 times ng deposit nyo. So it's must penalize the landlord kung hindi nila na-follow yung rule na yon, which is absolutely your right to know saan na ba napunta yung deposito ko? At safe ba yun? Asan na yung tenancy deposit certificate ko? At ano ba yung mga impormasyon kung ano yung mga circumstances na pwedeng ma-deduct, magawa ng deduction yung tenancy deposit ko. So it's very, very strong rights na later on pwede mo magamit pag medyo nagkakaroon na kayo ng dialogue ng landlord nyo about tallying up. Nasaan yung ano ko? Nasaan yung tenancy deposit certificate ko? Binigyan mo ba sa akin? In addition to that, kailangan meron kayong, binigyan din kayo ng energy performance certificate kung gaano ka efficient yung bahay nyo. Kailangan meron kayong gas safety certificate kung may gas appliance yung bahay nyo. And I'll tell you more about that later on about safety, health and safety. Kailangan bigyan din kayo ng how to rent in England checklist. So that's a little form, that's a little guidance, just to give you more information about your rights again. And most of the time, meron kayong assured short-hold tenancy. So may fact dapat kayo, information fact kayo na makukuha when you start a tenancy. At pag hindi nila hindi na-comply ng landlord ng maayos yon, you can use that later on. So that's number 1. Number 2, and ito yung kasabihan namin sa law, yung pinaka-right nyo as a tenant is what we call a quiet enjoyment of the property. Sa tanong mo, ano ba yan? Tahimik lang ako sa property ko, bawal ba akong tumawa, bawal ba akong mag-ingay. That's not really what it meant. What it meant is that dapat hayaan kayo ng landlord nyo. Dapat hayaan nila kayong mamuhay ng tahimik sa bahay nyo. Hindi yung tipong kakatok sila everyday. O, kamusta na? Okay lang kayo dyan? O, then the next day, kakatok ulit. O, may kailangan ba kayo? That's not how it should be. Kailangan, you're free to enjoy the property as you wish in a tenant-like manner. Kailangan na maayos naman ang paggamit nyo ng property nyo. However, what the landlord can do is iharas kayo. Hindi nyo na ma-enjoy na maayos yung pagtira nyo sa bahay na yon or sa flat na yon. What we normally say sa mga lawyers is minsan pag hinaharas kayo ng landlord nyo is nabe-breach yon, and yun yung ginagawa naming grounds para humingi ng deduction sa rent later on. So that's one of the main points or main rights nyo bilang tenant dito sa UK. Number 3, I touched upon this earlier, nung sinabi ko gas safety certificate. As I said earlier, malakas yung pagpulis ng law sa rights nyo bilang nangungupahan. And malaking highlights, so it's big area of concern ng law na ma-ensure na safe ang mga tenants sa UK. So they put the onus, nandun sa landlord yung responsibilidad to make sure na fit and safe for habitation yung inuupahan nyo, which means gas safety certificate. Yun nga, kailangan yung mga gas appliance nyo na-install ng gas engineer, at yearly, chine-check yan na maayos, hindi yung puputok. The same way, yung mga electricals nyo, kailangan maayos din, and chine-check ng landlord, I think, every 3 years too. Kung may wood-burning oven kayo, wood-burning stove or wood-burning appliance kayo, kailangan may carbon monoxide alarm system. So that's again a requirement by the law. So maraming mga additional provisions na nire-require sa landlords to ensure na kayo ay safe, kayo yung property that you're renting is fit for habitation. So kung wala yun, you can raise the point to the landlord na sabi mo, hindi ko naman makita yung carbon monoxide alarm dito, or asan yung gas safety certificate ko, or asan yung electrical certificate ko. So you can raise that. You can raise that to the landlord. And hindi nila pwede sabihin na, ay, wala yan sa contract. Hindi nila pwede sabihin na. Kasi they can't contract out kung ano yung sinabi ng gobyerno. So they don't even need to put that into the contract. As long as nasatisfy yung mga criteria na yun, they have to do that. So number 4 as well, so we talked about yung mga sira-sira sa bahay. This is one of the most common disputes sa landlord and tenant relationship. May nasira. Ano yung ano yung tatawag sa akin? Ano ba? Ay, sira na naman yung, mostly pag winter, sira yung heater, pumutok yung boiler, walang mainit na tubig. So it's really a big problem dito sa UK. So what landlord's obligations are, and nakalagay ito sa law, hindi mo na kailangan hanapin pa sa tenancy agreement mo. Although most of the time, if not all of the time, andun yon. Ang landlord, according sa Landlord-Tenant Act, kailangan sila yung may obligasyon sa heating, so water services, yung water and gas and water pipe, heating facilities, shower facilities, sinks, bath, exterior, and structural area ng bahay nyo. So pag may mga nasira sa mga ganong area, you have to notify your landlord, preferably in writing, email, text, WhatsApp, Messenger, anything na pwede nyong screenshot at pwede nyong gawing ebidensya later on. And the landlord has to reasonably promptly ayusin yung sira ng bahay na yon. At pag hindi nila naayos yun, you can say na na-breach ng landlord yung quiet enjoyment mo of the property at pwede mo actually i-withhold yung rent. So that's one of the main rights mo as a tenant, because ang iniisip ng law is that itong mga facilities na to, essential to sa habitation, sa habitation ng tao, essential to sa araw-araw na kailangan ng isang tenant. Lalo na dito kung winter, essential yung heating, essential na may shower facilities ka, essential na may water facilities ka. Pag nawala to, kailangan aksyonan ng landlord speedily at promptly. So just make sure of that. Pag may problema, notify in writing, notify by text. Wag mo lang tawagan. Huwag mo lang tawagan sa telepono kasi I don't think hindi naman recorded yan. Although nandun sa phone records, it's better you tell them sa email, sa text, or sa messages, ano yung problema, and then make note kung gaano kabilis nila or gaano kabagal nila ayusin yung problema. Now, the 5th and last one, and this is a common misconception sa both tenant and landlord, and mostly landlord, kasi minsan landlord pupunta sa akin, Dana, gusto ko nang paalisin yung tenant ko, tapos na yung fixed term nila. Tapos na pwede ko bang palitan na lang yung lock? No. Hindi mo pwede gawin yun. Hindi mo pwedeng physically tanggalin yung nangungupahan sa bahay mo. Hindi ka pwede as a tenant, as nangungupahan, hindi ka pwede physically tanggalin ng landlord mo. Hindi pwede na pag nag-holiday ka, pagbalik mo sa bahay mo, pinilitan na ng landlord yung lock ng bahay mo. Hindi pwede yan. Meron kang protection from eviction. Hindi ka pwede tanggalin unless may court order. And even if tapos na yung fixed term ng tenancy mo, say 12 months, magro-rolling lang yan ng 1 month. At kung talagang gusto kang tanggalin ng landlord mo, they have to follow yung procedure, possession proceedings. Kailangan nila kumuha ng order from the court to get you out. And kailangan nilang kunin yung bailiff, yung services ng bailiff to actually change the lock. So yun yung sinasabi ko when I started yung program na to, na ang pakiramdam ng mga landlord ay sobrang bias yung law sa mga tenants. In some ways, as you can see, with the 5 points, madaming karapatan na you may not know na pwede mo magamit para ma-ensure na maayos yung pangungupahan mo dito sa UK.
Ayan. Okay. Ayun. Okay. Meron tayong mga questions, attorney, no? May mga pumapasok na questions dito. Oh. Can you hear me? Can you hear me ba? Okay. All right. Pinatay ko kasi yung monitor sa tenga ko para at least hindi bumabalik sa aking yung monitor. Yes, bumabati sa atin sandali, bumabati sa atin si Darmin, no? Sabi niya si Darmin, bumabati sa atin, no? Good evening to you both. Sabi niya, magandang gabi. Ayan.
Ganda
And
Darmin.
si Emeline Rafael, good evening Sunny, and Attorney DANNA Quinto, and everyone watching your program tonight. Ba, nagulat ako, nag-i-English ka ngayon, Emeline, ha? Okay, may question dito, Attorney, no? Si Eric Cortez, no? Sabi niya, I was harassed by my only neighbor. Okay? Upstairs for 4 years until I had it and reported him to the letting agent. Okay, yeah. Sabi niya, they didn't renew his tenancy. Ayan. Anong masasabi mo rin?
Yes, actually...
Kwento lang yan. Actually, parang statement yata yan. I was harassed, no? Okay lang ba yan?
Okay na yun. Walang problema. Walang pong problema.
Hinaras, no? Okay.
Na minention niya yun. Kasi ika nga ni Spider-Man, may responsibility din tayo. May responsibility with power. May power tayo. We have rights. We have all of this. Power according to the law. Meron tayong power and protection according to the law. But on the flip side of that, meron din tayong responsibility. So most, again, if not all of the tenant's contract is nakalagay doon, you have to use it in a tenant-like manner. Kailangan walang antisocial behavior, huwag kang mag-create ng nuisance, wag mong bulabugin yung buong building. And if you do so, pwede yung maging breach ng tenant's obligation and pwede yung maging ground ng landlord na either kunin yung property sa'yo or hindi na renew yung tenancy mo. So, magandang point na ni-raise ni Eric na aside from rights, meron din tayong obligasyon to nababalance yun na kasi yung mga kapitbahay natin is also trying to enjoy yung property nila. So, dapat balance yun. Balance.
Okay, attorney, merong follow-up question si Eric Cortez. Sabi niya, how about normal wear and tear? Do I have to make sure that the property looked brand new before I move out?
It's not brand new, Eric. Yung state of marketable state lang. So you have to put it in the same condition as close as possible kung nung una kang nag-check-in. So when you start yung tenancy mo, normally may check-in list yan. Sasabihin, ito yung state ng flat na to nung tinake over mo. Tapos sabihin, may crack na yung window na yan. Wag mong ipaayos sa akin yan pag end ng tenancy. So what will happen sa end ng tenancy mo is kung may check-in, may check-out din. So i-compare nila yung check-in at check-out. Sasabihin nila, you have to put this kasi nung kinuha mo yung flat, wala namang marka yung carpet na yan. Now you have to fix that. O ikaw mismo o kami maghahanap ng mag-aayos niyan at tatanggalin sa deposit mo. Normally that's how it is. So may mga nung ako I'm renting, but nung umalis ako dun sa previous ko, kumuha ka talaga, maraming kumukuha ng parang check-out na naglilinis para as close as possible pareho dun sa state ng condition yung bahay nung kinuha mo siya from the lettings agency or from the landlord. So that's ang criteria mo is make sure andun ka sa check-in and make sure andun ka rin sa check-out.
Okay. Attorney, may question dito, no? Babasahin ko lang itong isang question. Asan na ba yun? Teka muna, asan na ba yun? Ah, ayan, okay. Ranjit Somel, sabi niya, good evening everyone. I have a question for Dana. I'm a landlord and have a serious problem with a tenant and need advice. I think it's too complicated to message on here in public. Can we talk on email if at all possible? I believe Section 8 has been issued but arrears continue. Is this the kind of thing you deal with? My management company, I think is also thanks in advance. But yeah, ano to, parang meron siyang gusto niya natang email sa'yo or itawag na lang. You could probably call her, no? Ranjit, no? Tama ba yan?
Ranjit, that's fine. Yeah, Ranjit, that's fine. I deal with landlord and tenants issues, including Section 8 or Section 21. Section 8 is isa sa mga notice before it's a notice to quit. It's a notice that you use in anticipation of a possession proceedings. You use Section 8 kung rent arrears ang binabasihan mo. It has to be either 8 weeks or perennially nasa rent arrears yung tenant. However, Ranjit, I'm going to give you my email, but I'm going to give everyone a bit of guidance on this one as well, practical guidance. We don't use Section 8 as much. The reason being is this is from experience. This is based on rent arrears. So when you go to the court, by the time you get to a hearing, sometimes, and it does happen, at that same day the tenant turns up with the money, and then before you go to the court, the rent arrears is gone. And so you don't have your smoking gun, yung sinasabi namin smoking gun, to say to the court, well, yes, when we started this, there were rent arrears, but now about 5 minutes ago, the tenant has just paid us. So yun yung isa sa mga risk with using a Section 8 notice. Why maliit na kasi yung gap ng Section 8 notice. You only have to give 2 weeks notice. We normally use the longer notice, which is a Section 21 notice, 2 months, no fault needed. Kahit ikaw ang pinakamagaling at pinaka-prompt, pinaka-regular magbayad ng renta mo, kung ending na ng tenancy mo, hindi na fixed term, rolling na lang, or pa-ending yung tenancy mo, the landlord can produce a 2-month notice, at least 2 months anyway, na Section 21 notice. No fault. Hindi na kailangan sabihin ng landlord na masama kang tenant or nasa rent arrears ka. So by the time it gets to hearing, we call it accelerated possession. Accelerated siya kasi the only thing that you need to do is kailangan mabuting landlord ka, nagawa mo lahat ng ina-expect ng law na gawin mo. Katulad ng sinabi ko earlier, yung documentary requirements, yung nilista kong kailangan i-produce sa'yo. So they have to do that. They have to be utmost proper landlord. And then it will be easier for them kasi almost walang defense na doon. Doon madaling kunin yung possession. Now, the thing with that is that you'll get possession, pero wala kang
attorney,
wala kang judgment.
Attorney, ano yata yan? Baka Indian something yan si Ranjit, no? Baka gusto mo Englishin lahat. Baka lang, I'm not sure hindi ko alam kung mistisong Pilipino yan, no? But Ranjit, are you half Filipino or are you pure Indian, no? Because but basically you're getting the whole gist of what Attorney Dana is saying, no? Sige, go ahead. Sorry, tuloy mo lang.
Yeah, this is what I'm gonna say, Ranjit. Email me at d.quinto@dvsolicitors.com or phone me tomorrow 01234225188. Yes, I deal with Section 8 and Section 21. I just had to explain to everyone else why we use Section 8 sometimes, but why we prefer Section 21, because the tenant can't just turn up at court and pay the rent arrears, because that has happened to me in the past at a case. The tenant just turned up and paid the rent arrears, and then by the time I went to the court, it was like, I don't have any rent arrears, but you may still wish to give this tenant possession because they were a bit delayed, but that's not a strong case anymore. With Section 21, what we can do is separate debt claim, separate claim to claim for rent arrears. But have a chat with me or email me. That's something that I do. But as a gist to everyone, yes, we do Section 8 and we do Section 21, but we like Section 21 better.
Ayan. Okay, so that's better as Section 21. Well,
Section 21.
21 instead of Section 8. Okay, so Ranjita, give Attorney Dana a ring no, on this number or email her. Email her on dquinto@dvsolicitors.com. No? Eric Cortez yata no, would like to thank you. Thanks very much daw. Rudy Librojo is greeting us. Hi, good evening, Sir Sunny, Attorney Dana, and all kababayan.
Hello po.
Happy viewing. It's very helpful show. Sabi niya, mabuhay po. So thank you. Attorney, teka muna, quick lang, tanong ko lang doon sa, nagbigay ng deposit, no? You were mentioning about parang tenancy deposit certificate. Parang, ano yan, merong kailangan, ano yan, hindi ba pwedeng i-deposit nila sa bangko niya, sarili niyang bangko? Kailangan pa rito, at siyempre, di ba, sa Pilipinas, ang ID, binigyan ka ng, ng deposit, nasa akin lang, nasa bangko ko lang. Pero here, it's formalized into a tenancy, ano ba yan, deposit certificate? Merong ganun ba?
Opo.
Oo.
Opo. It used to be na bangko lang. But a few years ago, sinabi ng gobyerno, ay hindi kami satisfied kasi pwedeng tumakbo lang yung mga landlords. So, merong a few tenancy deposit schemes na dun mo dapat talaga ilagay yung deposito. And kung hindi mo nalagay doon, time ano din po yan, time sensitive. You have to do it within 30 days. Kailangan gawin ng landlord yan within 30 days of receiving the deposit. In turn, pag nalagay nila doon, may para kang diploma, may certificate ka, may number, may reference na doon nakalagay. Kailangan mo ibigay sa tenant yon. Kung hindi mo nagawa yon, pwede kang i-penalize. Actually, ipi-penalize ka pag nahuli ka ng law. You can be penalized from 1 times the deposit to 3 times the deposit. It's very severe at talagang ginagamit ng mga abogado yon. At the court has no other option. Pag nahuli ka, the court, kahit ikaw pa yung pinakamabait na landlord, nakalimutan mo lang, may instance na gano'n, nakalimutan mo na kliyente ko, di naman siya masama. Sabi niya, hindi ko naman alam yun, Dana.
Oh, okay.
I'm so sorry. I'm really sorry. Ang wording na law is must. You must pay a penalty of 1 times to 3 times the deposit kung landlord ka. It's very, very severe.
Utak Pilipino ako siguro sa Pilipinas sa setting, no? Iniisip ko lang. Halimbawa, kailan natapos ang lease o yung rent, no? Yung lease ba tawag yan? Lease, no?
Tenancy po.
Tenancy. Sorry. Okay, tenancy agreement. So, kailan ibibigay sa iyo yung deposito mo? Minus the damages if ever. Kailan yan? Meron bang nakasaad dun sa agreement na after 30 days, after 15 days, isosoli yung deposito mo kung walang, kunyari, as against mga damages mo, syempre, bawas na, no? Okay, kailan yan? Meron bang set date yan? Time?
Normally, reasonable dapat. Wala namang, you have to look at yung tenancy deposit mo kung normally within 14 days. So, dapat natapos na yung checkout paglabas mo. Halimbawa, lumabas ako dito, natapos yung checkout. Say within 7 to 14 days, ang mangyayari po muna niyan is sasabihin ng landlord, Sunny, nag-check out kami, na nakita namin yung mga disrepair na to na hindi namin kasalanan bilang landlord, kasalanan mo bilang tenant. Ang proposed na deduction namin ay 200. Happy ka ba dyan? So sasabihin mo, either sasabihin mo, Sunny, okay, fair enough, that's fine, walang problema. Pag sinabi mong yes, bibigay na sa'yo kung magkano yung minus 200 ng deposit mo. Pag sinabi mong no, kailangan muna kayo mag-negotiate. Hindi marirelease yung deposit hanggat hindi kayo nag-agree ng pera. Pag hindi kayo nag-agree, you can have, may tribunal minsan or may alternative dispute resolution kung paano kayo mag-agree ng deposit deductions.
So hindi korte yan, no? Hindi korte yan, hindi
pwede pong korte. Depende.
Pwede rin ma-escalate yan into a case. Pwede pala yun.
Pwede po.
Yung sinasabi mo yung sinasabi mo mai-withhold yung bayad. Dahil let's say may problema, hindi inayos, repairs or whatever. Ano yan, ano ba tawag doon? Pro rata ba tawag doon? Kung ano, kung ilang araw sira, ganun, doon ba ang pwedeng ibawas? O ibabawas mo yung wag mo bayaran buong buwan na yun?
Yun ang medyo hindi clear sa law. Kasi ang ginagawa minsan is gagawin lang bargaining chip ng kliyente. Kasi sabihin, oh, we withhold ko muna to, ayusin mo yan. Ayusin mo yan. So, kung one day lang naman na hindi inayos, kumbaga, bayaran mo. Kasi one day, sabihin mo, oh, ang daily rate ng bahay ko is how many pounds. Hindi ko hindi ko na-enjoy ang bahay ko ng 2 days. So, hindi naman lahat, kumbaga 50% ng bahay na enjoy ko kasi may roof ako, may tutulugan ako, pero wala akong bathroom facility. So, kukunin ko yung 50% on. It's a bit of an art, yung nasa negotiations yan, kung magkano yung i-deduct nyo. So, what we normally use is ginagawa lang bargaining chip ng mga tenant pag hindi nagbabayad yung hindi inaayos ng landlord yung renta nila. However, be very careful na gamitin nyo yan kasi minsan sasabihin ng landlord, oh, naayos ko na, ikaw lang naman yung gusto ng gold na bathtub may bathtub naman dyan. So be very, very careful kung gagawin nyo yan. Sasabihin nyo na according to the breaches. Pero in reality, kailangan niyo pa rin bayaran yung renta niyo. It's on very severe circumstance na mag-grant yung korte na may deduction ka ng rent mo. So, very, very severe circumstance. Minsan, pwede mo lang takutin. Oh, without ko to pag hindi mo binigay yung ganitong facilities. So, those are the instances na ginagawa siyang parang bargaining chips and negotiation. But as I've said, get independent legal advice first kung tama ba yun. Isa lang yun sa mga option in practical terms na ginagamit ng mga ibang nangungupahan.
Okay, well, a couple of quick questions dito. No? Si Ranjit came back to us saying, I'm British, Indian-born, and bred in the UK. Sorry, Ranjit, but definitely if Attorney Dana needs to talk in English, she can, because there was this clamor earlier, weeks back, that she does this in Tagalog. But it's fine. Anyway, you're one of our avid fans now, or avid listeners or viewers. Thank you very much, Ranjit. No, sabi niya, what he said was, I understand Dana very well, but not fluent in Tagalog. Although been to the Philippines a few times. Oh, wow! Thanks for the response. I will email you, Dana, later or call you tomorrow. Regards. Ayan. Oh, thank you very much. So, mahusay yan. She's very good, no? Si Dana. And, okay. Eric Cortez, no? Last, siguro may question bago tayo magtapos. I overpaid 10 weeks worth of deposit. Teka muna. Itong, sabi mo, 5 weeks of deposit, is that the standard one, attorney?
I think may general po yun ang maximum. I have to check the recent law on that one, but may recent na pinas na legislation, I think a year or two before. So depende sa tenancy niya kung kailan nag-umpisa yan. But 5 weeks.
Sabi mo, 5 weeks and 1 month, di ba? Yun ang unang binibigay mo, di ba? Advance. Okay, so I overpaid 10 weeks worth of deposit to the letting agent. When the law changed, I was only given my fees back 2 years after the law had changed. Were they breaking the law?
In terms of, were they breaking the law? Were they breaking the law and being slow? The problem with that is wala ka ng loss kasi nabigay na sa'yo kung ano yung dapat na sa'yo. You may say, oh, I should be given 2 years worth of interest. That's probably, if you really want to be particular about it. In reality, if you raise it to the court will look at it kung talagang may loss ka kasi at that particular time, at this particular moment, nabigay na yung deposit mo. So, at this particular moment, ang loss mo siguro is loss of the money for 2 years. So, how much is the interest? 8% of whatever it is. I don't think the court would really be that particular. However, as you said, I'll check on my case law na they would make more, they would ask the landlord to pay more damages. My gut feeling is that, they probably will say tough luck. They're bad. They're not bad, but they don't do their jobs properly. But however, this very moment in time, wala kang financial loss because nabalik na sa'yo. And to litigate on something that on just the interest, hindi siya make sense cost-wise. So that's the practical advice. Cost-wise, I wouldn't probably litigate on it. What you can do, however, kung may property ombudsman man or may mga ombudsman, is just to raise the point or raise mo sa complaint manager nila, and maybe you'll get, say, look, I want the interest, and would you do something about it?
Wala naman siguro harm to try siguro, attorney. Is it just a letter? Is it just a letter ba? Is it just a letter to the letting agent? Okay, okay.
2 years of interest. I would have gone and invested it in Apple, and by this time, at least interest rate ng Bank of England. And you say, look, I need interest in this one.
Siguro kung wala ka magawa, Eric, you would just want to pursue it po, pwede. But sometimes kung it might not be worth the trouble, pero malaki-laki pa din ba yan? Baka hindi naman ganun karaan. Laki, 8% of...
Depende 8% of whatever.
Of whatever, no? Okay. All right, well... We want to thank you, Master Eric, for joining in. Ibig sabihin, for participating. Why we have questions, and also si Ranjit, no? Maraming salamat. Ranjit, he's British. And then I was surprised because Ranjit last night when we had who did we have last night? We had Gretchen Ho. She's a TV presenter, TV host, yes, and an athlete turned a former volleyball athlete turned TV host, no? She's got this campaign for giving bikes to needy people in the Philippines, and so Ranjit last night came on air, no, and he made a contribution, at least a third of the bike, because the bike cost about 7,000 pesos, so that's about a little over 100 quid, no. So he at least 30% of that was given by Ranjit last night. He pledged. I don't think he pledged. I think he actually made the actual transfer. No. Okay. Well, maraming salamat. Thank you, Ranjit. Thank you, and to everybody, Darmin, Emmeline, si Rudy Librojo. No. Mabuhay kayo. Make it a habit to watch. Even if it doesn't affect you, make it a habit to watch, because you will learn. And eventually you might have a friend that, when you come across it and they talk about it, I heard it on Attorney Dana, this is her suggestion. Or you can call Attorney Dana if you want more advice or something like that, to clarify. But at least by watching the program, you get educated, you get to learn, every time she's on air. So, yeah.
Yes, Paul, Mr. Laraga, which I found, this is just feedback as well. There were people who would watch the show first, and kung meron silang on the replay sa YouTube or wherever, kung meron silang particular point, and then that prepares them for the conversation kung tatawagan nila ako. So ready sila sa questions nila, ready sila sa gusto nilang malaman. So I think what I'm saying is gamitin nyo lahat ng available resources. We have this, we have the free consultation, and gamitin niyo pareho, and it's there for you to be empowered at matulungan as much as possible.
Yes, we're empowered also because we have you, no? And we're thankful na even week in and week out, andyan ka, and you discuss some misconceptions, all of these things, no? And mga bagay-bagay pa, no? So, maraming salamat. Attorney, baka mga last few words. Baka ikaw. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, thank you so much. Daghang salamat. Damo gid nga salamat sa tanan niya mga Ilonggo kag Ilonggo. Thank you very much, London. Thank you very much, Mr. Laragan. Maraming salamat po sa lahat ng nanonood at nakikinig, and it's always a pleasure to be here. Thank you so much.
Yes, it's always a pleasure for us, to get to see you every week and to learn and be empowered and enlightened about the law here in the UK that affects us, all of us. So maraming salamat. Thank you very much. See you again next week. And bye-bye. Yan, dagan. Ano sabi mo? Dagan salamat o dagan?
Madamong salamat.
Madamong salamat sa imong tanan. Sa imong tanan. Tama ba yan?
Sa imong tanan.
Ayun tanan. Bye. See you next week.